everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. That is Jerraud Powers. And, well, again, we're getting ready to go into this upcoming Thursday game against the Denver Broncos. Ooh, that's a matchup from heck. Sorry we can't have Rodney McLeod. He's busy training his butt off, practicing his butt off, watching tape in order to prepare for this game because they're walking into this without some of their best players on defense. And man, that's going to be a tough matchup when you're talking about dealing with a guy like Russell Wilson. Jerraud, walking in this game, sitting here, Colts are 1-2-1.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It is, isn't it? Going into Denver, that's already a tough place to play, isn't it?
Yeah, already tough with the altitude, and they got some crazy fans. Got a good history of some good football, so they got passionate fans just like our fans. So it's definitely going to be a tough place to go to. So traveling across the country, it's always tough when you got to travel that far to play a game on a short week.
Absolutely.
Kind of mad at the NFL for scheduling that. That's a tough road game for a short week for a team that's on the East Coast compared to a team that's on the West Coast.
So you're thinking that this should have been played in Indy,
or it just should have been a different opponent to where maybe a divisional game for Thursday night or something like that. But when you're talking about flying across the country to play, somebody that's outside of your division, that's tough to do on a short week.
Yeah, and then especially with the altitude and everything. Mm-hmm. People are like, well, everyone has an advantage of being at home. Home is an advantage, but there's a couple places that seriously have serious home field advantages. Denver is one of them.
At the top of the list.
Yeah. So that football is back, as you know, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. As your continued source for all sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like Major League Baseball, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts. We also, as I said before, we're going to be short a few defensive players walking into this game, but if you've said it before, at this point in the season, the injury list is like a shopping list right now for most teams. You go look at the Denver injury report, and it's longer than the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, even their starting quarterback is dealing with a shoulder injury right now. If you were
starting running backs out.
Yeah. There's their backup running back is dealing with an injury. I mean, it's just their wide receivers. I think we got a few people on defense. It's crazy. If you were a team walking into this game, how do you prepare for a game like this, where it's a short week, you're going to Denver, you're on your team hasn't been playing well. If you're a coach, how do you get your guys prepared for this game after the letdown that has happened so far these first 4 weeks?
So when we come in on Monday, so for the Colts, they're going to come in yesterday, quickly go over the film from the Titans, and you have to move on immediately. You don't have any time to waste, not even a second. So the main focus right now is getting the guys physically ready to play another game while trying to do the X's and O's and the mental part and getting everybody sharp, ready to go. But this is something they prepared for. They knew it at the beginning of the season. They were going to have a short week. So I'm pretty sure most of the game plan was already finished, already done before we even got to this point. But the main thing right now is physically, like you said, the injury list is going up. and guys is beat up. It's around that time guys is beat up and you're feeling horrible and you got a Thursday game. So as a coach, as a staff, as a and all that, you're trying to do whatever you can possible to make sure your guys as fresh as possible. So practices be more so walkthrough-ish tempos. You might do a couple live things, but it's not going to be any physical aspect to practice this week just because of the short week. And, everybody know how brutal football is. And to play, 4 days later, it's tough to do. And it's the same thing with the Broncos. Their schedule is going to be the same. Go in, watch film, quickly get over the film, walk through type practice, and try to do as much as you can physically to get those guys ready to go.
So defensively, they've got themselves a task in having to deal with Russell Wilson. The last time we played Russell Wilson, he was with the Seahawks, and he hit us a couple times deep for touchdowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really hurt the team. How does, as a defensive back, how do you defend against a guy like Russell Wilson?
Man, it's tough. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's been that way for years now. His reputation, it is what it is when it comes to quarterback. You know it. You look at him in warm-ups and you're like, all right, he's not the biggest guy. He's not, the fastest guy. And then as soon as the game start, he's standing in the pocket. He's extending plays. He probably has top 3, top 4 best deep ball in football, and just being able to throw the deep ball very well. So when it comes to, I guess, trying to tame Russell Wilson, everybody has to do their job and be disciplined and sound. Because like I said, when those rush lanes start to happen and, he start to feel the pressure and things like that, he's great at extending plays and making plays on the run or running the ball himself, scrambling and doing what he has to do. So I think it'll be a game to where if we stay disciplined within our scheme, guys are where they're supposed to be, and we keep them in the pocket, we'll be fine. But if he's able to invade the pocket to extend plays, because they got some weapons at receiver with Sutton and those guys. So if he's able to invade the pocket and extend plays, I think that'll hurt us defensively. So I'm be watching the D-line and see if they can just keep them contained inside that pocket throughout the game.
Yeah, that'd be something great. The one thing that I have noticed from watching him over the years is if you get pressure on him up the gut, he doesn't run side to side much. He runs backwards. All right. And you want him to run backwards, okay? Because that's almost, a situation where it's in the positive favor of the defense. You can make a play on that.
Not to cut you off, but in 2000, I want to say it was 2015 when I was with the Cardinals, we played Seattle, and I think we sacked them like 9 times, and still lost. So I think that kind of proves your point on how good Russell Wilson is when it comes to pressure and dealing with certain things. He still found a way to beat us when it matters. So.
Yeah, that's true. We talk about the offense. Our offense being not the best right now. We're tied for the second least offensive touchdowns in the NFL at only having 6 so far. You know who's tied with us for second? The Denver Broncos. That's kind of weird to say when you're talking about Broncos and Russell Wilson and things of that nature. They've got weapons out there, but again, they're kind of, it kind of feels like to me they kind of got a very similar situation with the Colts. You got a new starting quarterback, you got new system coming in offensively, stuff like that, where they're trying to figure themselves out. So this is an opportunity for the Colts to maybe get one up and maybe solidify their own confidence walking after this week.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a game we match up well against. I hope nobody's in our building thinking that this game is going to be so tough that we can't win it or whatever the case. Because like you said, the Broncos got their issues too. They got their problems as well. They haven't looked great as well. Russ, even though we know he's Russell Wilson, he hasn't been the Russell Wilson of the past this year. So I think it's a huge opportunity for us. And if we're able to go to Denver on a short week, dealing with what we've been dealing with, looking how bad we've been looking, and we find a way to win this game when all the odds are going to be on us. It's a primetime game. And we know what that primetime type atmosphere is going to be. It's going to be electric. So if we can go out there and, and match that energy, I think we can definitely go out and win this game. And I think the Broncos might be favored by 3 or something right now. But I think we can definitely go out there and win this game by 7, by 10, or somewhere around there if we go out there and do what we're supposed to do. I know JT might be out. I'm not sure what the situation it is with JT dealing with an ankle issue, but you just never know when certain little things happen within your team, and it puts the onus and pressure on other guys to step up and make plays. I ain't gonna say 9 times out of 10, Lawrence, but a good amount of time, guys normally step up to the plate and answer the call when their call is it's there.
Yeah, definitely. I think 9 times out of 10 they do. I think Nyheim Hines, he brings a different aspect to the running game. He's going to run a little bit differently. At least I hope. There was a few times against the Titans where I saw Jonathan Taylor kind of look like early Jonathan Taylor, where he was solely focused on trying to hit the hole that the run play was schemed for, when he could have broke it outside and made a lot more yardage, right? And Nyheim, I think, is that guy that would do something of that nature. If it ain't in front of him, he's not the biggest running back in the NFL. He's more of the catch me if you can type guy, and he's very good at that.
And also, if JT's not able to play and Nyheim has to be the main running back, it's a different dynamic. We're talking about a pass catcher out of the backfield, so you might not see as many downhill runs as you would see or expect with Jonathan Taylor. Maybe we'll get a little, open it up a little bit and, try to have some new formations and different ways to get 21 the ball. But we definitely got to get him more touches as well.
Absolutely. Now, the Colts are dealing every week. We deal with defensive linemen. Our offensive line obviously, has had its issues this year, and every week we deal with some named defensive lineman. This week, Bradley Chubb,
and he's legit.
Yeah,
he's pretty good, Lawrence. He is pretty good.
How does this offense do? What does this team do to try to neutralize Chubb to the best of their ability?
Before we start, I guess, trying to, stop specific guys on the other side of the ball, I think we just got so many issues that we got to get like fix as a whole as an offensive line. And if we can just fix ourselves as a whole, I think we'll be able to tame Chubb like how we're supposed to tame Chubb. So I'm not even going to worry about who's on the other side of the ball because it hasn't mattered yet. Until we kind of, fix our problems and get our chemistry back to where it's supposed to be and what everybody was kind of expected. I mean, we got too many veterans and too many good players, that's proven themselves on our O-line for them to kind of have their same slow start. So before we start, I guess, trying to figure out how we're going to stop Chubb, I'm trying to figure out how we're going to open up these run lanes for our running backs. And if we're able to do that, that means we're stopping Chubb anyway.
Absolutely. I mean, opening – if you can run the football, that's going to help a ton. But if you're not able to run the football, like we have not been able to run the football, what can the offense do to try to help that situation when it comes to like maybe certain pass plays and things of that nature?
So a lot of offenses, when you watch it, a lot of guys, offensive coordinators are good at having certain pass plays that you can kind of look at as a run, quick little certain screens, just certain little pass funky type plays to where, you could have gave it to the running back and ran it for those 4 or 5 yards, but you put the defense in a tougher spot when you're giving the running back the ball on a quick type pass and now he's out in space. So I think if we can come up with more ways of getting the ball out of Matt Ryan's hands fast to where these guys are in space and they can get, and I'm not saying that they have to get the home run ball. If we can get Hines, a quick little pass here to where he can break a tackle and it's a 5-6 yard gain, that's good. That's just as good as him being in the backfield and running the ball for a 6-7 yard gain. So I think we have to come up with more formations and more ways to where we can just get the ball out of Matt Ryan's hand and we ain't got to worry about if the O-line's going to hold up pass protection wise, to give Matt Ryan the time. And secondly, like you said, if you're not able to run the ball as a defensive coordinator, it makes your job so much easier to call a defense when you know that they can't run the ball. So when they can't run the ball and it's going to be passed, you can put whatever coverage or whatever scheme you want to put out there to stop the pass, because that they're one-dimensional right now. So we have to find ways to where we can run the ball, whether it's handing it off or quick little throws to get those yards that we need to move the sticks with.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
At least that's my take.
I like the idea of using with our tight ends being good. Definitely stepping up. I would love to see some tight end flat throws, maybe some drags, things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should utilize those. We got some really big athletic tight ends out there, and I think they're mismatches for any linebacking and safety. Yeah. So
I even like tight end screens. I mean, you look at Kansas City and how they use their tight ends. It's not like they're just throwing the ball downfield to them. Shoot, they'll give their tight end little 1-yard screen pass here or there, and next thing you know, Kelsey's running down the field. So I think we need to use our tight ends more in the screen game as well.
Absolutely. Because let's face it. All right. We're looking at bubble screens. Wide receiver bubble screens have not worked for the Colts this year at all. I mean, the defenses have been reading them big time and stopping them. Maybe get the ball out in shorter little spots like what we're talking about here, where it's a little closer to the quarterback. You can just dump it off, kind of draw Chubb in and then dump it off behind him. That way he's out of the play. All right.
Hey, and I know we're talking about Chubb, but the guy that I'm most impressed with on Denver's defense that I hope we do not throw at is Patrick Surtain. The guy's having an all-pro year to start the season, and he's guarded some of the best receivers in the game so far this season, and he's done his job. So he's a guy that I'll be watching. I'm pretty sure him and Pittman will have some battles, but we might need to stay away from Surtain, though.
Well, yeah, that is true. But I think I don't know. I mean, you can't I feel like you can't let a defense dictate who you're throwing to at the same time. So obviously if there are spots for Pittman to catch the ball, you go ahead and throw it to him. But at the same time, don't focus on one guy, right? I mean,
no, but I'm sure
weapons, right?
No, we got weapons, and I'm not saying Pat is going to be covering Pittman everywhere he goes. I'm just saying it's certain situations to where if you look up and you see Pat Surtain out there, and that's where your read is out there. He's playing good enough ball to where he'll hurt you if there's a mistake. And, we've been making mistakes lately, so I don't know if he's a guy that we should target.
Right. What about on defense? So Gus Bradley's been playing a bit more man defense than what he has in the past. Do you think he continues that against Russell Wilson and this offense?
I think so. I mean, I think you have to. He's probably doing it more just so he makes sure he continues to stop the run and doing those things. Normally when you're playing a little bit more man, it's man for man, so it's harder to run the ball in those situations because, everybody can be in the box. But, I think he's going to continue to mix in more man-to-man coverage just because he has the guys that can do it. And like I said, I mean, like you said earlier, it's not like the defense has been playing horrible this year. They ain't been playing great. They ain't been playing bad, but it seems like they're ready to have that breakthrough game to where we can get some turnovers, some game-changing type plays to where we can give the offense momentum rather than us waiting for the offense to give the defense momentum. So hopefully this will be the game to where, Stephon Gilmore, he's used to playing in these primetime games when the odds is going to be on him. The commentators will be talking about him. So I'm hoping this will be the game to where Russ tries him a couple times and he'll take advantage of that.
Absolutely. I mean, right now the Indianapolis Colts are 27th in the NFL, if memory serves me correct, when it comes to the turnover margin, -6. Our record reflects that, period.
Yep,
all right.
Yep. Losing a turnover battle. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So if the defense can start getting some turnovers like they did last year, they fell one shy of meeting Darius Leonard's prediction, right? He said 40, we got 39. Now obviously we don't have Shaquille Leonard on the field right now, but the other guys, they when the opportunity presents itself, they've got to take it by the throat, snag it, don't let it go.
That's right.
All right. I think it's about time for us to do a prediction for this game. Indianapolis banged up, heading to Denver to face another banged up team at Mile High Stadium on a short week. Who you got and why?
Man, I'm gonna go to Colts. And I'm gonna go 21-17. And the reason I'm gonna go to Colts is normally when you're back against the wall, just like it was 2 weeks ago when we're playing the Chiefs and everybody's down you and don't give you a chance to do anything. You come out swinging and you come out playing better than what you've been playing. I do not think that we'll have, another bad game like we did last week as far as the start. I think somehow, some way we will start better than what we've been starting. And I think we find a way to win, man. And we just find a way. I think the defense plays well enough to contain those guys, keep the number of points down. And long as those points is 21 and under, 20 and under, 17-ish, you give your team a chance to win if you can hold teams to that total. So I think this will be the game where we'll just find a way to win on the road. Might not be pretty by any means, but I'm gonna take the Colts 21-17.
21-17, 4-point win. Well, I hope you're right. I am all about, positivity, putting the past behind you, but I've been picking the Broncos to win this game since the schedule came out.
I think you did. Yep.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I had this as their first loss. Now I was way off on that one. But look, the Colts just don't play well in Denver. They never have. Okay. It's just, I think it's that altitude issue plus the travel and everything. They just don't play very well in Denver. Now, this could definitely be a change because it is a Thursday night football game and both teams are playing on a short week and they're both banged up. So we could legitimately walk out of here, but I got Denver winning this one. Now neither offense has been good this year,
right.
For Denver or the Indianapolis Colts, who I could see this as an ugly defensive game, where we're talking like 12-9, right?
You've been hitting it with these low scores on a couple of these predictions the past few weeks.
Well, it is what it is. But I mean, the Colts just haven't broke 20 points this year. And Denver, I mean, they just won with 12 points or lost? Yeah, the Chicago game, right? So, I mean, it's crazy. So I can see like a 16-12 or, 12-9, something of that nature, somewhere in that game. But I got to go with Denver because I had them winning before, and honestly, this offense has not given me anything to, think that's going to be different. So please prove me wrong. All right.
No question. Do something.
Do something. All right. That'll be it for this episode of Believe in Colts. Please don't forget, hit subscribe, share to your favorite social media, hit the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That is Jerraud Powers. This was Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, go Colts.
Do you believe?